And it looks like we're streaming live. So let's see if I can find us in Facebook. I want to welcome everyone here tonight. Oh, let's see. All right, well, it's saying it's live, but I'm not able to see us yet. Ah, there we go.
See us, okay.
I see us now. Okay. So in the meantime, please put your city and state in the chat. Put your city and state in the chat so we can recognize you. We're going to get started around 6:03. We want to say hello to everybody.
See Terrence and Maritza and Tawana. Hello, Tawana. Always nice to see another Tawana out there in the world.
Spelled differently, though.
That's okay. We're still Tawana. Still a sisterhood.
Hello, ladies.
Oh, we see. Hi, Dr. Keisha.
I gotta switch my background. I was still in party mode from Vicky. Let's see. Oh dear.
So we see here, it must be Kansas City. Arthur's from Kansas City, Fort Worth, Texas, Kalamazoo, Nebraska, Atlanta, Bakersville, California. Yeah, everybody.
I've never been to Nebraska.
I haven't either.
Sounds like a
Put your
road
city
trip.
and state in the chat. I know. And then we have friends and family all over the place. So yeah, so we have a whole bunch of places to visit. Got Jacksonville, DC, Fort Meade. Hello, Miami. Welcome, everybody. We're going to get started around 6:03. We want to give people a chance to come on board. We have a ton of new members, and we did hit our founding membership officially of 1,000 members. We have 1,000 plus members. So I keep getting emails with regards to the founding membership. So we have a couple of announcements about that tonight. And we also have something that Dr. Keisha and I are going to be pushing and plugging away at for the next 3 weeks. Major publicity with regards to our knowledge centers. So we see here Stockton, California. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Tawana, I am in the main group within Facebook. You want to be in the members group?
I will go there.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Hello, Eric.
Hey.
Hey, Eric.
Sweet. And Tawana, how y'all doing today?
Hello.
Very good. Thank you. How are you doing?
Doing very good.
Good. Okay. So what has been happening with people? I'm going to hit the record button here. So just, let's go around just kind of a precursor for Eric and Dr. Keisha and Tawana. Ooh, I like the white better, Dr. Keisha.
Oh, yeah.
It was looking a little dark there. What's been happening? What's maybe a major news story that you guys are following, or something that you're thinking of that's really at the forefront of your mind these days? So I'm going to start
about anything.
About anything not super controversial, because we are trying to get SEC approved around here. But yeah, Dr. Keisha, so I know school is about to start again for you.
Yeah, but actually what I've been really excited about actually is virtual reality for more transformative and immersive learning experiences in the online space. So I'm really excited about that we've had to jump into this online space, and a lot of the big complaints about it is that it doesn't have a sense of presence and stuff like that. So this really will bring the learning and the to a whole nother level. But that means the teachers really need to be trained on a whole nother bit of technology. But that's
not
where my
only that,
business
there are
comes in.
businesses that are going to start And, one of the things we're interested in on the 10K project is any kind of tech business. And you don't necessarily have to be a coder to run a tech business. So we're going to try to get one of our friends, Ron, to come and talk about that, how he builds tech businesses without knowing how to code. So that'll be something, hopefully we can get him for the Knowledge Center. I'm sure he'll do it. I just got to ask him to come in and teach that as a topic. So, but yeah, Dr. Keisha, that's a big thing. So Eric, what's something on your mind?
Okay, this is slightly controversial, but it's kind of not. But here's the thing. First of all, hey everyone, summer is about to end. I know, we're about to close out this third quarter, start for this fourth quarter. I predict this is about to be the wildest fourth quarter that we've ever seen in our recent history. And let me just say, I listened to a podcast this past weekend, and one of the things that they said was, overwhelmingly, the research has shown that the performance of the stock market is a direct indicator in an election year as to how the election is going to go. So it's one of those things where I think we're really about to see some real volatility and pushing and pulling as two sides try to have their way. And let's see how that goes.
I don't know if I necessarily believe that in this year, just because of all of the other things that are happening. I think that because I listen to some of the political news out there as well, and they do always try to compare it to every other election cycle. And I do think that there are things happening in this election cycle. You have different, I'll put characters in quotes. I don't really mean characters like that. I mean, different types of people running the campaigns, as well as, being considered for election. You have a young lady in Tennessee, I think it was, Marquita, I forgot her name, but her opponent raised millions of dollars. She raised 20-something thousand, and she won the Democratic primary. So, we're starting to see upsets in a way that that hasn't been done before. And I think that people are paying more attention because of COVID, and are their kids going to have to stay home from school and or if their kids are going to school, are their kids going to be safe? I think that people are watching a lot more. So people in the chat, comment, let us know what you think. Nothing too controversial because we have to be approved by the SEC. But if you have a thought about it, definitely put it in the comments. So Dr. Keisha, you were going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say that sounds pretty controversial. That stirs up something new. That kind of aligns with what Eric is talking about.
Yeah.
So who knows what it will be, but 2020 has been what it is, so I wouldn't really be surprised. Just about if anything happens, I don't know.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
So Tawana, did you have a news story that's kind of top and center for you?
I am watching that Bitcoin price. So that's been something.
What's happening with the Bitcoin price? I know it had spiked, but
we've hit a little increase. So I think we're at 11,000, a little over 11,000 right now.
Okay, so I did know that. Okay.
So we are on
it had a bump.
Rise. So that's always a wonderful.
This is not investment advice, education.
This is not investment advice.
Yes, please. Education purposes only. This is current events.
Sharing.
Just a topic of discussion. So, yes. So, Talisha, we're just kind of talking about what's front and center, the news story that you're following, or anything that you're thinking of top and center, front and center.
Kodak.
What about Kodak?
Oh, Kodak is very interesting. If you haven't followed Kodak, it's amazing. So on the brink of true obsolete, Kodak wasn't performing at all very well, doing nothing, switched from, doing camera and film to vaccinations. And that amazing alone that would put them over the top, that's now being investigated. So we went from just a couple days ago to being the rally that it was going to be this amazing thing, to now being under investigation, and again led by the person who lives in the White House, who has some investment in Kodak. So
Not the person.
yeah, I don't even, we're because you have to do something to be called a title. If you just there, you just there. There's people there that clean, people there that are checked. There's people in that place that I live next to. So, but
That'd be the definition of controversial.
That is that like girl.
that's just calling a thing a thing. We're just calling things what they are. Things that happen, people that do things and don't do things. So that's what's happening. And that's like, if we follow that in itself has different points, because the vaccination is a very topical aspect. Trying to get this vaccination. And as it looks like everyone is trying to determine if it's December or February. That's in the healthcare community. That's the going thing. Is like, if it could hit before December is before we actually end Q4. But if not, Q1, looking at where does it fall and how can we actually get and disseminate, because now they're doing things, from a very high scale. They're not doing the clinical trials the way they typically do. This is warp speed clinical trials. So instead of like taking years to follow this test subjects, they're doing large amount of subjects for a small amount of time. So just in that, we're seeing brand new things specifically in that area, which also has a great impact on the economy.
Yeah. Well,
This
let's
is
get
not
started.
investment advice, but this is immunization advice. Don't be the test dummy. Don't let them give you
I
that.
was thinking the same thing, but I was like, let me not say that.
Don't
So-
do it, people. Don't do it.
I
Let
do
somebody
not
else
want
be the
vaccine.
trial run. Don't let them offer you money to do it. Don't do it.
Hmm.
Because there is no way you're going to buy tried and true clinical trial protocols, right? Been doing them for years. Processes out the wazoo. Now all of a sudden they're not necessary. Come on.
And
But
this
if
has
they
been a
are
world
necessary,
pandemic.
we have developed a new ability that they've called it now warp. It's considered a warp testing, like warp speed, but that's the environment that they're doing this in. And they're very much looking for, from a trial perspective, the ability to track the information, to be able to assure the information is given, any of the side effects are readily available. They're trying to use blockchain in the sense of making sure all the information is autonomized and accessible to everybody. So not everybody in this clinical trial is doing it this way, in this clinical trial, they're all seeing the information. Health and Human Services is having, the ins and outs of this information. So there's an approach that's very different because there's different technology available, but at the same time, some of the other, readily available and trusted ways of doing things are no longer in place because they're trying to expedite this particular immunization.
I'm
My
team
heart just got
Tawana
really
on this.
heavy. My heart just got really heavy because what's going to happen is they're going to target healthcare workers to give this to first, right? The frontline workers, and they're going to make it mandatory, right? So they won't have a choice, just like they do with some of the other immunizations they have to get in order to keep the job, right? And my heart just got heavy just now because this doesn't make me feel comfortable.
It's not making a lot of people feel comfortable. So subsequently, this is why there's a whole lot of talk going on. There's a whole lot of people that are in the actual studies right now that are being monitored heavily, and why they're doing it, and making sure there's solvency in everything, that there's how they're tracked, why they're tracked. It's a very ongoing conversation, lots and lots of pushback. A lot of things are going on that have different impacts and effects. And then the people are saying, why and how and whatnot. And the medical community is very divided at this point as well about it. So it's very interesting going on, like I said, but it's an economic problem on top of it automatically being, morally right and getting people healthy. There's a strong impetus right now over the economics of this, of this vaccine.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's
Very controversial.
Let's hop into
Let's exhale.
That'll teach you to ask us about Carney Venturi.
That's a current event.
No, next time. Next time.
we'll get that next time. Yeah, because yes.
Ask us a joke or something.
And I do want to say hello to everybody. Put your city and state in the chat so we can recognize you. We want to officially welcome you to the 10K Project. We are the nation's largest community of Black investors who are funding Black businesses for as little as $100 per investment. So the purpose of this evening, every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we come live to talk with you with regards to what the 10K Project is, the legislation that we're using in order to help build Black wealth. We can answer your questions, so feel free to put your questions in the chat. We're seeing people here from all over the place: Maryland, Tennessee, South Carolina, Virginia, Florida, Alabama, California, New York. We welcome you here. We thank you so much for being here. We had Afghanistan in the house last week. We've had Alaska in the house. So we don't take anyone lightly with regards to you being here and you giving us a little bit of your time in order to talk about this. So I'm going to start off this presentation with just saying that this idea came about because I've been a business plan writer, and I've been a business plan writer for about a decade now. And one of the things that kept coming up with the clients that I was serving was the hard times that Black founders have, and I use that present tense, with getting the funding that they need in order to grow their businesses. And there was a Morgan Stanley report that said when our businesses are funded properly, we make just as much money as any other ethnically founded company that's out there. So the 10K Project is a very simple idea. It is the idea of what if we brought three groups of people together. The first group are entrepreneurs that need to get funded. The second group are investors, everyday people like you and me who have $100, $200, $500, that when we find a great company that we want to put money into, we're able to do that. And then the third group of people are what I call business specialists. These are people who are accountants, attorneys, digital marketers, project managers, HR professionals, people who need jobs, doing all sorts of things. When we put those three groups of people together and we fund the businesses, we are the investors that can get a potential return on investment when the businesses do well, and we have our specialists actually helping those businesses take the money that the community gives them and 5 exit, 10 exit, 20 exit, 30 exit, then all of a sudden we have what Dr. Claude Anderson calls Powernomics. And I'm very pleased to say that today someone from his office reached out to us. So we are really growing and expanding. And the person reached out and said, I want to talk to Cherie Warwick. And, you know, they wrote some other things in the email. I was like, oh my goodness, you know. So awesome. The 10K Project is starting to have major legs. And we're so proud here. So what we're going to do is probably take about 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to introduce the 10K Project to you, give you some more details, and then I'm going to turn it over to my co-founders who are going to introduce themselves to you and talk to you about why they're part of the 10K Project. And then we're going to answer your questions. So again, put your questions in the Q&A. I know people have already started putting their questions in the Q&A. Please do that, and we will make sure to answer all of your questions. And hopefully by the end of this presentation, you will say, you know what? I like the 10K Project. I like these founders. They're regular people, but they're hardworking and they have a vision, and I'm in. And being in is membership and becoming a member and a part of the 10K Project. So please let me know if you are able to see my screen. Just one of my co-founders, let me know. Okay, I see Tawana. All right, perfect. So we're all about building Black wealth, and we are going to talk tonight about something that's called equity crowdfunding and how it can help build the Black economy. So again, we're going to talk about equity crowdfunding. How does it benefit the Black community? Some of the intangible benefits that the community can have when we participate in funding Black businesses, how the 10K project can help build Black wealth. And we also have some upcoming events, some news, that we are going to share this evening. So all businesses need money to start and grow. However, Black businesses are at least likely to receive the funding that they need. Many businesses start by receiving funding from private investors. Some of you may know it as family and friends. And when I was a business plan writer, I still am a business plan writer, one of the first things that I'd ask people is, if I write this business plan for you, who are you going to show it to? And people from other ethnicities will say, Cherie, all I need you to do is write the business plan. I've got aunt, I've got uncle, I got a venture capitalist that I know, I have a fraternity brother, and they would take my business plans and they would get 6-figure checks with them. People from our ethnicity rarely had those types of connections. Actually, during the decade that I was a business plan writer, I only had one Black person who was able to take my business plan, take it to a person that she knew, and get a 6-figure check. And it wasn't because the others didn't have heart. It wasn't because they didn't work hard. It was just because they didn't have access. They didn't have access to people like this. These are America's most famous private investors. And you've probably seen Shark Tank if you don't recognize their photo. But within Shark Tank, what do you see? There are entrepreneurs that come in, they present to investors, and each individual investor has the ability to say, yes, I like this business, I'm in, or no, I don't care for this business, I'm out. Well, we're about to do the same thing at a much smaller level. And but before I do talk about that, did you know, for example, that there are over 300,000 private investors just like the sharks nationwide? And I always ask this question, so we'll do a little bit of audience participation. Put a 1 in the chat if you know one of these 300,000 private investors. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't know any. I always like to have people tell me that. And for the most part, I usually get 2s. Every once in a while, I get 1. I know one person, right? So here's a couple of the major problems when it comes to Black businesses. Black businesses are least likely to get funded. And by the time that we, the people, find out about these opportunities, it's too late for us. So what happens in the family and friend rounds is you'll have people who will fund a business. Let's say it's a technology business. Well, if that business is sold 5-10 years later, then the family and friends hopefully would make a return on investment. A lot of times we as a people are not part of this process. And by the time we get in, most of the profits have been made. But what if we, the people, could earn these profits or returns and share in the profits of the businesses that we're funding? Well, that's what we're here to do. Thanks to the internet and something called the Jobs Act of 2012, Black entrepreneurs have another option to get the money that they need from regular people like us, the crowd. So we are the crowd. We're everyday people and we are the crowd. And the way that equity crowdfunding works is simple. You'll have an entrepreneur that works with an equity crowdfunding portal to raise up to $1,070,000. Now, Congress has voted that entrepreneurs can now raise up to $5 million. However, we're waiting on that to be turned into law. And when it does, we'll let everybody know. But for now, entrepreneurs can go to an equity crowdfunding portal and raise up to $1,070,000. Investors are able to review the business plan, the terms of agreement. They're able to do something called their due diligence, which is basically researching the company. And if they decide, each individual investor gets to decide whether or not they want to help fund that business in exchange for equity or ownership in the company. And if the company makes it big, then we, the crowd, share in the profits. If not, investors only lose what they put into the company. And one of the things I will say here is the crowd needs to expect 7 to 10 years to be in each individual investment. So this is not something that you get in and 2 months later you get a return on investment. So you don't want to put money in that you cannot afford to lose. The other thing that I will say is entrepreneurs can't just slap up a website and say, hey, I want to do equity crowdfunding today. It doesn't work that way. You have to go through the Securities and Exchange Commission. We, as the equity crowdfunding portal or company, has to do it, and you as the entrepreneurs have to do it as well. Go through the SEC. So equity crowdfunding is government regulated through the Securities and Exchange Commission and FINRA, and it does require approval from our company as well as from the entrepreneurs that are coming on the platform. In fact, for our company, we have to, all 5 of us as co-founders, we have to get fingerprinted and go through extensive FBI background checks in order to be approved. But there are a lot of intangible benefits that we get from this, this community and from equity crowdfunding, period. So investing can be a family affair. Grandparents can leave generational wealth. Children can participate early and learn about investing and entrepreneurship. And their kids can see positive examples of Black excellence and can follow an entrepreneur's journey from startup to massive growth. Another intangible benefit is properly funded companies hire from within the community, and businesses have a better chance of growth with the right employees as part of their business. Another intangible benefit is we can uplift our young people and celebrate their ingenuity, whether it's a young person that has an entrepreneurial idea, or it's a young person that's looking for an internship or looking to be mentored. We have the ability to uplift our young people. So the 10K Project is a community where Black investors can fund Black businesses for as little as $100 per investment. And the concept is super simple. When 10,000 of us come together and we invest $100 each into a business, that's $1 million. We can fund our own companies, profit from our own innovation, create jobs, and build Black wealth. So how does it work? There are 3 groups of people that get together within the 10K Project. The first group are entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs will do a business plan. They have other forms that they have to fill in with the SEC. And then they would be able to do something called a Bet on Black pitch. And that is similar to a Shark Tank pitch where the entrepreneur talks about who they are, what their business is, you know, how much money are they raising? What are they going to use the money for? What's their revenue model? How will we get our money back? When should we get our money back? And then the second group of people are investors or the crowd. We get to decide, each individual person gets to decide if they like that entrepreneur and if they want to bet on that Black business. And then the third group of people that are a part of the 10K Project ecosystem is the business support before, during, and after funding. These are our accountants, our attorneys, our digital marketers, our publicists, anybody who helps businesses take the community's money and grow it exponentially. One of the people that we're working with is a gentleman who helps companies get their products on the shelves of Target, Walmart, Publix, and all sorts of retailers. Another person that we are talking with is somebody who is going to talk with us and teach us about emerging technology and what's happening in, you know, artificial intelligence and blockchain and all of this new technology, so that we can not only be smarter investors, but our businesses can receive the support that they need in order to grow and thrive. So at the 10K Project, we recognize that you and I are everyday VCs. A VC is a venture capitalist. So you're an everyday VC, I'm an everyday VC, and at the 10K Project, this is the home of the everyday VC. We received a couple of weeks ago, we received this testimonial, and I thought it was really great from Deborah. She said, I already made investments in Sunjoin, Black Mama Tea and Cafe, Black Sands Entertainment, Vegan Fine Foods, and Threesome Chocolates Cuisine. It was getting difficult to find Black-owned companies on a particular site I was using. Thanks for creating a website that will decrease my search by 100%. I'm overly excited and ready to invest. So Deborah is spot on. What makes the 10K project special and the way that you get involved with the 10K project is to become a member. And what does membership get you? It gets you, first of all, a seat at the table, and Tawana always talks about it so eloquently, but it's that table that we're rarely invited to. It's those rooms that we're rarely invited to. Yet it's where a lot of deals happen. And for, some companies out there, a lot of profits are made. So Tyler Perry talked, I guess, several months ago about the fact that we need to start creating our own tables. And that's what we're doing here in the 10K project by investing in our own businesses. But we're not only here to invest in our own businesses, we also care about your financial literacy. So we're working on a knowledge center. Dr. Keisha Waddell, who is here, is in charge of that. We're working on on a knowledge center that will include all sorts of financial literacy for all of our members. And membership is a one-time payment of $100. You get the opportunity to hear all of the pitches on the platform and invest in all of the deals on the platform for life. You'll never, ever be charged for membership again. So membership education includes a lot of different things. This is our financial literacy. Things around making more money, saving more money, reducing debt, repairing your credit, reducing taxes, developing money-savvy kids, starting family banks, best practices around analyzing deals, building a strong investment portfolio, creating and preserving family wealth, group economics 2.0, and so much more. And we have some upcoming milestones. Number one is membership is open. Our first 1,000 members, we call our founding members, and we have officially hit that. So yay for that. But people asked if 1,000 is all we're looking for. No, we want to grow to 1 million members is my goal in the next few years. So the members area is open on Facebook. The investor education has already begun and is continuing this month. We have our publicity tour happening right now and is going through the fall of 2020. The Investor Knowledge Center is opening on October 22nd. The Business Owner's Guide, if you want to raise capital, if you want to raise money, because we have a lot of entrepreneurs asking me this, the guide is coming out on October 27th for anyone who wants to raise money on the platform. On November 11th, the Entrepreneur Knowledge Center is opening, and we're going to talk a little bit later about what's going on in that. And around spring 2021, we estimate FINRA and SEC approval and investments to begin. Now, we have to get approved by the government. We cannot say this is definitely going to happen at this time. All we can do is control when we submit our documentation, and that is happening very, very quickly. So, founding members, the first 1,000 people. Number one, you will know in the next couple of weeks if you're a founding member, because we are going to have some gifts, or a gift for you, I should say, a gift for you. And we're working on that feverishly. We have a couple other things to wrap up with it, and we will let everybody know what the founding member gift is and how you can get access to your gift. We have a couple of other announcements as well. Number one is we want to invite you to become a member. If you like what you see, become a member, because with membership, we're able to grow and build the community. And the more members we have, the more businesses we can allow on the platform and we can fund, and the bigger we can grow and the more we can move the community forward. So that's number one. Number two is if you would please join us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Now we have a YouTube channel, we have Twitter. Starting to learn Twitter. a little bit better. So please join us on all of our social media at Black 10K Project. Share the 10K Project with family and friends that are like-minded. We have a few webinars forthcoming, including Lamar Wilson on this coming Thursday, Dr. Dennis Kimbrough on Tuesday, August 18th. I'm going to totally fan out for that one. I'm warning everyone right now. And then on August 25th, for members only, this is going to be great for investors as well as entrepreneurs. I've invited a woman who has grown 3 7-figure businesses to come and speak with us. And what I'm really going to drill down on her what I'm really going to ask her is, how does someone have multiple 7-figure businesses? Like, getting into her head, her name is Twilight, getting into her head as an investor, you'll hopefully be able to see some of the characteristics of a successful entrepreneur. So that's the thought with that. We're also going to ask people to contribute to our knowledge center. So my co-founders, I know I'm going a little bit long with this, but I just want to let everyone know that we're seeking educational partners for our knowledge center. What's in it for you is brand exposure, traffic to your paid services. So we, as an organization, because we will be approved by the Securities and Exchange Commission, God willing, we are not able to take any affiliate payments from your organization. But we are looking for people who want to educate the community. And in exchange for that, you'll not only get brand exposure, you may also make some money for your consulting and coaching services as well. So investor education, if you know how to help people make more money, whether it's side hustles, certifications, businesses that people can start, we're looking for you. If you're a wealth coach, if you do credit repair, if you are a CPA that can help people reduce their taxes, if you know anything about group economics or family wealth, we're looking for you. Also, for the entrepreneur side, if you know how to write business plans, if you're a business coach, if you are an HR coach or a recruiter, somebody who teaches sales, marketing, any kind of CPA, any kind of lawyer teaching business law, digital marketers, somebody who knows about negotiating, a productivity coach, any kind of coaches or consultants, we're looking for you as well. The content has to be yours in order for you to submit it. It needs to be yours, but the content can be anything from PDFs, videos, podcasts, infographics, ebooks, and it can include your personal branding and contact information. So if you want to know more, Dr. Keisha and I did it's 50-minute presentation about this. It's on YouTube. Go to Black 10K Project on YouTube. You're able to find our channel. You're able to find our channel, and you're able to see that 50-minute presentation. You're also able to go to the10kproject.com/partner, and you're able to complete the form. And we'll let you know, hopefully you're able to get your information to us by August 26th, so in a couple of weeks, so that we can be ready for the Knowledge Center to open in October. Okay. So I said a lot. I'm going to go around and ask everybody, starting with Tawana, if you would introduce yourself, tell everybody why you're part of the 10K Project.
My name is Tawana Rivers. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at the 10K Project, and primarily have oversight of day-to-day operations as well as compliance. And I'm an HR professional by trade, and so you always see that last little bullet on the bottom of a job description that says, and anything else they need you to do, right? We are a startup, and so I'm also that last little bullet. We all are. I believe that we should leave people in a better state than we find them. And that's been my motto for not my entire life, but for probably the last 25, 30 years for sure. And so I think about the 10K Project, and I think about if I can leave this earth having made an impact on the Black empowerment movement that we are currently experiencing, then my life will be complete. I think about being able to create a platform for investors where they can learn and possibly earn, right? There's no guarantees of ROI, right? But we're going to create a platform where we hopefully they can do those things. And from an entrepreneur standpoint, where they can live out their dream. Some of these entrepreneurs have had these business ideas for years and years, and they never had the support because they didn't have the funding, and maybe, you know, they just didn't have any place where they could go to where they could even, you know, get the buy-in, right? For somebody to say, I believe in you. So to be able to create a place where they can come and get that. And then to see the community come together in such a way that they will excel, right? When Cherie talks about that support before, during, and after funding, right? And having access to those professionals. But we're doing all of this together. If you think about what she just presented to you, it is truly an ecosystem of people, of Black people coming together and creating an amazing change. You know, I don't think personally that the world is ready for the amazing Black excellence that this pandemic has inspired, right? There's an awakening that's happened to people. Some of it is as a result of people losing their job and feeling like, okay, I can't depend on anyone. I got to do my own thing. Now's the time, right? And some of it is just the fact that we've stayed still long enough to actually allow ourselves to be creative and to do the things that we've always wanted to do, right? To finally write that business plan for that business idea that you've had forever, but you keep putting off the business plan because it's a pain, right? Well, it all starts there. And so I'm just pleased to be a part of this amazing project and to work alongside these amazing people, because I really do believe this will change the trajectory of many lives for generations.
Thank you, Tawana. Dr. Keisha?
Oh, I think I'll just really echo the sentiment. I am Dr. Keisha, though, Dr. Keisha Waddell, the Chief Instructional Officer of the 10K Project. And as Cherise mentioned, I have the task of reaching out to some tremendous folks in the community who have a lot of information to share that really is holistic. I mean, that we get into building up of the entrepreneur in terms of you know, their stick-to-itiveness, you know, their motivation, you know, all the way to the brass tacks of, you know, negotiating, hiring and firing, you know, business plan and you know, all the hardcore business stuff that makes you a true entrepreneur and one who's able to last. And then further with regard to our investors, we have some really good information. I mean, I'm a teacher, but I'm always learning. You know, I'm a lifelong learner, and it's just amazing how many Black people who we're reaching out to, and you know, I'm just learning so much information, so much about what all we have to offer. So again, my biggest thing being part of this group is that I really believe in our Black excellence, and it's been substantiated by being involved in the development of our knowledge center. Really, I knew we were always out there, and I'm telling you, this technology has made it such that we can gather us all together. And like Tawana mentioned, this energy going on right now, this the Black economic agenda can happen with real efficacy, you know, and it really will benefit our generations if we do this right. And I feel like we really will at this point. There's kind of like Tawana said, we've had time to think about it. It's time to so be about it at this point. So everything else is happening. Why not? You know, why not? Why not something good on our side? And you know, we are the ones to do it. Nobody's coming to do it for us. We get that, and here we are. So and I've just been so encouraged too by how many people have gotten our vision. We talked about it, and people are just joining en masse, and it's just a beautiful thing. So please ask us any questions you have. We expect those numbers to continue to go up because you are our people if you're here on this call.
Talisha?
There we go. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
I was on mute. Yes. I am Talisha Shine. I am the CTO here, the Chief Technical Officer. I just always say I leverage my technical functionality and knowledge for the focus of the individual. So many times we are the users of technology and as well as consumers. So we leverage it in a way that's great for the another person and not for our own benefit. So here, this is where we can use a back-end technology because again, technology is kind of one of those things that just does what it's supposed to do, but it's really the creativity and functionality of the individuals that bring something to it that really makes it special. And that's where we are right at this point. Every business idea has to have some technology to support it, to make it grow. And that's what we're here to do.
Thank you so much. And Eric.
Yes, Eric Spence, Chief Business Development Officer here at 10K Project. I'll tell you, like over the last 2 decades, I feel like we just had a Cambrian explosion of great ideas that have come out and ideas that have affected our lives, products and services that we use. I believe that 2020, we are on the cusp of seeing, to me, even a greater amount of ideas that are going to take place. And I am just really interested in just capturing those great ideas, those great products, great services, and great business leaders too, that are going to come through this platform. So I want us as a community to then be able to really share in the fruits of just that, as Dr. Keisha said, that Black excellence that we know is already out there. So couldn't be more excited to be a part of this project.
Yes, so there are some questions in here that we will answer live. Dr. Talisha, I'm sorry, has been in the Q&A, also responding to people as well one-on-one. I do want to say in Facebook, I am in the Facebook group, so if you on Facebook have questions, feel free to put them in the chat there as well. So Deborah asked a question about the $100 membership fee. She's asking how the platform itself is funded. In other words, how are the administrative startup costs of the platform paid for? Is that what the membership fee is for? And if so, the $100 does not go towards an entrepreneur, correct? Okay, so yes, a lot of questions in here, but it all flows together. So we'll be transparent with you. So the platform itself, all 5 of us put in money in order to get the 10K project started and off the ground and running. Then we came to the community because let's be honest, with the legal fees and the marketing and all of that, yes, we could have put money in, but it would have taken everything just for us to get legal off the ground, and that would not have been good. So yes, we asked the community to assist us with membership fees as well. However, we didn't just say, hey, give us membership fees and you get nothing in return. So that's the reason why we're going above and beyond with regards to the Knowledge Center, with regards to the Entrepreneur Knowledge Center, with regards to the technology we're putting in for the business directory, so that you as a member are able to let people know, hey, I'm a CPA, I'm a marketer. Like once your business is funded, I'm able to assist you with this business. So we are putting 100% of the money back into the company now. The platform itself is already built. Talisha did a great job of finding somebody who was a former SEC employee who has built the platform, and other SEC approved companies are already using that platform. So we're white labeling it. Legal is paid for. We thank our founding members for that. Legal is paid for, right? So now we have a lot of money going into, we do need, a couple of other things strategically and operationally, and we have more marketing that we want to do so that we are able to get more members through the door. But again, the more members we have, the more businesses we're able to fund, and the more variety you can get as well on the platform. So another question Deborah asked is about the 10K project and whether we have or plan to have a board of directors. Okay, so the 5 of us are the board of directors. However, we're going to say that we will have advisors. We do intend to have a board of advisors. We've already have 2 people in mind, and we have 2 other prototypes that we're looking for to be on our board of advisors. So yes, Deborah, we do. Another question that we do often get is about investing in Africa. So I know someone asked that as well. The SEC has a requirement that the business has to be US based. You have to be an American US based business. That does not mean you can't do international business, but it does mean that you have to be a US based entity. Someone else asked about being on a conference call this morning with the Black Chambers in Northern California, and they wanted to present the 10K project and was wondering about the possibility of getting an official presentation by our group. The answer is yes, yes, and yes. Let us know when, let us know where, and at least 2 of us will come to that presentation. We're also looking for any kind of podcast that you listen to. You can introduce us to people, any churches, you know, you have a bishop, you have a pastor, somebody like that who is entrepreneurial, who would be willing to have us come and speak. You belong to a sorority or fraternity. Yeah, sorority or fraternity, we would love to connect with those individuals as well. So did I miss any other important, well, all the questions are important, but did I miss anything else, Talisha? Because I know you've been answering them.
Yeah.
Deborah is asking, does the project provide financial statements to members, income statement, balance sheet, or are you not-for-profit? So first of all, we are a for-profit business. Second, we do not, as the 10K project, we do not provide financial statements to members. No, your membership is just your membership.
But the businesses that you invest in will provide you those necessary documents from an investment standpoint.
Yes. So Ayana is asking the question of the hour. Will we be able to buy our 10K shirts soon? Okay. These t-shirts. Okay. All of us within the 10K project want to do t-shirts. All right. For the first 1,000 members, we have another gift for you. We are all lobbying to have t-shirts. However, as Ayana said, will we be able to buy? You will have to buy your t-shirts. We're not going to be able to buy the t-shirts. However, we're trying to figure out the most, well, number one, we're trying to use a Black vendor if we can. So Tawana is in talks with a Black vendor who really wants the business as well and really wants to work with us. We just need to make sure his quality is there, number one, and number two, if he's able to do fulfillment for so many people, okay? If we can't, then we have to go someplace else. But what's taking us a little bit longer with this is if we can use a Black vendor, we want to be able to do so. So give us a couple more weeks with it, please, please, please. But now that I've explained it, I hope everyone understands what we're trying to do. We don't just want to talk. We want to try to use as many Black vendors as possible for these types of things.
Yeah, the fulfillment is a big issue. So if, you know, in the community out there, right, we talk about this ecosystem. If you are a t-shirt designer / producer and you do drop ship fulfillment, then send me an email at trivers@the10kproject.com and we'll talk through some specifics, because that's where we are right now, trying to figure out the logistics of that. Because what I don't want is 10,000 t-shirts sitting on my dining room table. So
yeah, especially with the sizes and all the differences.
Oh my gosh,
so
really
that's what we're trying to. That's what we're trying to do. But I will say this. So we, within the 10K project, we're looking at 5 different industries, and we actually have an economist that's working with us to determine the supply chain and how we can be strategic at having businesses that are represented in every part of the supply chain. And one of the industries we're looking at is manufacturing and logistics. So, Vanessa Braxton was here a couple of weeks ago, and she said she wrote a $130,000 check to another vendor of another ethnicity because she couldn't find a Black vendor that could give her the bottles for her agave nectar. So if you are an entrepreneur and you are not sure what kind of business you're looking to start being strategic with regards to that. We're looking at manufacturing and logistics, agriculture and distribution, real estate, construction, commercial and residential, professional and personal services, but it's got to be a scalable business for that. Scalable businesses, okay? Or technology. And when I say technology, because Celicia's like, every business is technology, we do mean new tech. So, anything from cybersecurity, data sciences, AI, blockchain, robotics, etc. And Dr. George Fraser was with us last week, and he said something that I thought was just so profound. He said, don't just think about building the robots, think about repairing them as well. So now all of a sudden we're starting to think strategically. And I did have somebody reach out to me and ask if there was a way for us to have these types of in-depth strategy sessions as members. So we do have, level 1 discussions. We have to check with legal counsel with regards to what types of discussions we can have or facilitate, et cetera, because we are bound by Securities and Exchange Commission, and we cannot look like we are favoriting one business over another. That would get us in the orange jumpsuits or declined as a platform. We definitely don't want that. So we are asking people, sometimes we can't give you a response right away because these things have to go through legal. And right now we are working on finalizing our SEC application. And that is like all we need legal focused on, so we've got laser focus on it. And once that SEC application is filed, then we're able to come in and ask legal other types of questions like these. So Ashton is saying, yes, I was a robot support tech for a short while. Ashton, if you want to put something in our knowledge center about your experience with doing that, we want people to know how they can get involved in careers like this and how they could potentially start businesses like this as well, drones and all of that. So does anybody else, my co-founders, want to add on to that?
Yeah, I just really want to add in terms of the kinds of content we're looking for. Guys, a lot of you guys have, lead magnets out there that are really valuable information. You don't have to reinvent the wheel in those situations. If you have existing videos that you'd be willing to share with us, we also will make accommodations with you, if need be, if you want to set up times with us to potentially do some things specific to us, just contact me. Really just really, we really respect everybody's not entrepreneur. I mean, what I'm saying is your expertise. There's a vast amount of information that we need here. We have a full breadth of needs here. We have entrepreneurs who are just starting, other ones who just have, ideas, other ones who are all the way up. It's the same thing with the investors. We have investors who are brand new to this equity crowdfunding space, as well as just all of us could use information just on how to make more money and how to save more money, how to protect our taxes and those kind of things. So, and then certainly more of the creative stuff, we're coming together here. Let's let it be more than the kind of stuff that you basically you didn't get in school. And I'm a teacher, think it that way. Give us that kind of stuff. If you're that person, you're like, I learned this stuff afterwards, and it's valuable. That's what we're looking for, is real actionable, valuable information that is, useful, really useful. So thanks in advance as you kind of really think that through. we are looking for that information. We've made it easy for you to submit it to us too. So make sure you take a look at that video again. We'll put it again in the chat to let you know that process and get all the details.
We have some really good questions here in the Q&A. I want to respond to them. Talisha, you're moving faster than okay, so Tandanico asked a very good question. So I'm wanting to start a clothing company for young boys, and I'm also learning to design my own currency. And he's saying, I'm trying to start an all young male clothing line for my son's brand. How can I get help? I get this question a lot with regards to how entrepreneurs can get help. Couple of things I will say. Number one is to join our Facebook group and ask, for help. There are a lot of people within the Facebook group that either are coaches or are currently entrepreneurs who may be able and willing to assist you. Number two is the Entrepreneurs Knowledge Center is going to open up on November 11th, and we're going to have a lot of resources in there as well. The third thing that I'll say is the Small Business Development Center. If you Google Small Business Development Center in your area, a lot of times there are individuals there as well who can assist you. But I do get a lot of questions from new entrepreneurs with regards to how they can start a business. So we are going to have a section of that within the Entrepreneurs Knowledge Center starting on November 11th. So you just got to be patient with us. Somebody else asked, have we checked with NSBE for resources? They are on our list. We have a lot of people on our list, but if you have a resource maybe we haven't thought of, then info@the10K Project. This other question, I'm putting it here, laughing inside. Will the 10K Project become a publicly traded company? The answer is no. Cherie has no interest in ever running a publicly traded company for so many reasons.
Tell her never to say never.
Yeah, there's never say never.
Never say never.
Okay, so I will say Cherie has no interest in running a publicly traded company. Will the 10K Project ever be publicly traded? Okay, then I might say, I don't know, but okay, but I will say this. We have a resource whose mission is to help Black businesses become publicly traded companies. I've spoken with this person a couple of times. She's like, I cannot wait for your platform to be ready so that I can get people through the process and get them to being publicly traded. So just know that there's going to be a lot of different types of businesses, a lot of different pathways, and a lot of, I'll put it in quotes, advanced stuff that's happening on the platform as well. There was another question here that I thought was really great. I think it's from Stephen. Yes, Stephen here, who said, with steps 1 and 2 in the tank, the Black 10K Project's birth and our founding members is the next step to fund the education center than the other 2 centers before 2021. That is a great question. So the Knowledge Center is really already funded. What we're looking to do is grow membership for 2 reasons. Number one is the more members we have, the more entrepreneurs we can bring in sooner to get funded, okay? So that lets us know the interest in the community, and also the more members we have, the higher caliber and quality entrepreneurs will come. The reason for that is because we have accelerators coming to us now saying, wow, you're doing something that other groups are not doing. You're bringing the crowd to these Black entrepreneurs. And we have to sell these companies on coming to our platform as much as they're selling us on their investments. So that's really the reason for the growth. So there's a certain percentage of every dollar that comes into the 10K Project that goes back into marketing in order to get more members, so that we're able to fund, 200 to 400 businesses a year. That would be a blessing. That would be a blessing to the entrepreneurs, the jobs that are created, the investors, you know, your kids being able to see different types of businesses, especially in this upcoming economy that people are talking about. There are going to be a lot of people who are looking for new opportunities, side hustles, etc. And we really want the 10K project to be an ecosystem. So, so that's the next real step. We're just busy behind the scenes putting together the Knowledge Center, but the Knowledge Center is already paid for too. Does anybody else have any other questions?
See, there's a question here by Chris. He wants to know if anyone's, how long we'll be doing those interviews, the one-on-ones, like while you joined the 10K project?
Oh, for a long, long time, Chris, a long, long time. So
Looks
please,
like Chris
if you
might
want to
want to
do
do
a member testimonial, info@the10kproject.com, and I'll send you a link to my calendar and you can get on the list. I see another question here. Narisha's asking if legally permissible, has the 10K project thought about hiring lobbyists to ensure the Jobs Act is protected for crowdfunding? We've never been asked that question before. So we have not considered hiring lobbyists. I will tell you that I don't believe the Jobs Act has any chance of going anywhere for a couple of different reasons. Number one is that crowdfunding itself as an industry is growing immensely, and they're expecting it to rival banks and bank loans with regards to funding companies. Number two is the Jobs Act threshold was just increased from $1,070,000 that an entrepreneur can raise to $5 million that an entrepreneur can raise. So there are other lobbyists out there that are doing things within the space, and you know, we're looking at working with them, working with those individuals. But unless you know something, Narisha, that I don't, but I haven't heard that this is going to be an issue with the Jobs Act not being protected. Oh, I get this question all the time as well. What if I don't want a Facebook account? What do I do? No problem. That's why we opened up Zoom, first of all, so you're able to always come in to Zoom. All of our Building Black Wealth webinars, any webinar that we do will be hosted in Zoom. We have your email address. So as long as we have your email address, just open up your emails, look at the upcoming events that we have. None of the Bet on Black pitches, none of those will be done in Facebook. So you don't even have to worry about that. So you could live in the 10K project ecosystem and it'd be totally fine. The Knowledge Center will not be on Facebook. That's going to be on our website. So
I think there's a question here from Lori. I think she needs a little more explanation on what the Bet on Black pitches are.
Sure.
When you say you'll be a part of the entrepreneurs presenting their business, what is that process?
Okay, so I think you're saying in terms of being an investor. So what will happen is the entrepreneurs will come on something like this. It may be Zoom, it may be some other platform, and they will most likely give a 30-minute presentation about their business to the entire membership community. Anybody that wants to attend live will be able to attend live. And during that presentation, just like you see on Shark Tank, the person will, the entrepreneur or entrepreneurs will talk about their business, what their product or service is, how long they've been in business, are they currently making revenues, how much money are they raising, what are they going to do with the money, when will we get our money back, how will we get our money back, you know, how much equity are they giving away in exchange for the money that they're looking to raise. All of those items will be a part of their Bet on Black pitch. And then during that live session, we as the crowd also have the opportunity to ask them questions live. So, you know, if there was something you weren't clear about, or if there's something you need further explanation about, during that live session, you are able to communicate with that entrepreneur and ask your questions. You also, within the platform, will be able to read their business plan. You'll be able to see their financial forecast. You'll also be able to communicate with them. There is, by law, there's a section that's required where you're able to communicate with the entrepreneur, and the entrepreneur is able to respond. And anybody who's interested in that potential investment will be able to see your question and the responses. And at that point, you can decide if you want to fund that business. And if you do, great. If not, that's fine too, because what we also want to do is help, present a wide array of businesses to you so that you can build a portfolio of businesses. Lori's saying, oh, great, understood. The final decision will be up to you, the founding members. No. So the founding decision is up to each individual person, each individual member. So that's one of the things that makes us different from a fund, for example. With the fund, everyone puts their money in and you got 5 or 6 people up at the top here deciding everything. That's not the way that it happens here. With equity crowdfunding and what the 10K project is doing, you get to hear the pitch and you get to decide if you want to put your dollars into that business on an individual basis.
I like to simplify it by saying we truly are the matchmaker, right? We give you a place to come and meet each other, and then you decide if you like each other, right? That's what this is. So if you like the business that presents to you, right, they show up with their best and brightest, shiny, new white, crisply ironed shirt, right? And the hair is laid and the business presentation, it's got stuff flying in and it's real legit information, right? But they come to impress you with their business. And then you decide by doing your due diligence, is this all glitz and glam? Or do they always iron their shirts, right? Are these numbers really legit? The revenue model look good? Does the business plan look good? And then you decide if you want to go on a second date, i.e. invest, right? So you do all of that. All we do is make the introduction. That's it. And then we're hands off.
Can I say this? Mine is not as colorful as Tawana just used. But I also want to say, not to be a buzzkill too, but the FCC does have some restrictions for us as a funding portal to what we can do and how far we can go as far as these businesses themselves. We're just a funding portal. So yes, absolutely. As Tawana said, it is up to you in your judgment to decide, hey, yes, that's a project, that's a business, that's a service I'm really interested in, like how they presented themselves. I want to hear more, like the business plan. I'm all in. So, but yes.
Okay, so I see a question out there from Chris Chapman. So Chris is asking, is this, Chris, what's your specific, how is this different from Biggie? So just to let the people know what you're referring to, Biggie is an investment club. And Chris, this is completely different than that because Biggie is an investment club and this is equity crowdfunding. So at Biggie, you've got a membership group of investors that come together collectively putting their money in, and collectively they vote to if they're going to invest in an item or not, right? Typical investment club. This is much different than that, as it is mandated by the SEC or approved by the SEC and FINRA. It is also, as we just explained, an individual investment decision that's being made. And it is an equity crowdfunding platform, which is a little different than with the investment club, because with the investment club, the investments could be a number of things. So Chris, if you've got some specific questions or some additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, as we are affiliated with that organization together.
Yeah, so there was a question here with regards to who receives the equity that is put up by the business getting the funding. So each individual investor gets a piece of the equity, okay? You as the crowd, that's one of the best things about this legislation. You as the crowd gets the pieces of the equity or the shares in the company, okay? And then will you divide up 20% equity between hundreds of members? Yes, potentially. So the way it works is you will buy, so some people will put in $100, some people will put in $200. Some people will say, I really like that business. I want to put $1,000 into that business. So based on that, you're buying shares just like you would if it were on the stock exchange, you know?
And the entrepreneur decides how much of the equity they're going to put up, right? Because the thing to remember is they also may have multiple fundraisers. So they decide how much they want to put up of equity to be sold or invested in. And so, yeah, that's exactly it. If your business model is that appealing that hundreds of people want a piece of it because they believe it has potential, then yes, however many of those investors that invest in that campaign during the time that campaign is active, they will share in the benefit of whatever that equity amount is put up in the form of shares of that stock.
Right. So Leah's asking, does it cost to pitch? So that's a great question. I'm going to answer it this way. The short answer is yes. However, that's not all of it. Okay. On October 27th, we have the Entrepreneur's Guide to Raising Money on the 10K Project platform. My suggestion to you is to make sure that you're on our mailing list, which you must be because you're here in Zoom. We will over communicate and over promote that it is available. We'll let you know where to get the guide. You take a look at it because it's not just, hey, I want to pitch and you show up. You have to go through the SEC. There are processes. You have to have a business plan. You have to fill in SEC forms in order to do it. You have to apply to the 10K project and be accepted. A certain percentage of your business has to be Black owned, you know, so there are steps to it in order for you to even get on the platform. So my suggestion to you is to look out on October 27th for that Entrepreneur's Guide.
Cherie, can I answer a question in the chat?
Sure.
So Chris says the reality of someone building a real portfolio that doesn't have thousands to invest. So that's a question. I know many that will like this, but they have limited funds. So Chris, I love that you asked this question because, you know, this is one solution, right? So let's just be clear, right? We're not saying this is the end all be all. There are other things and ways to invest to build up that wealth, right? And for those of you who joined us a few weeks ago when we had Calvin Williams on talking about how to create a wealth plan, you'll understand this, right? So it's about diversification. Well, this is one way. The other thing I want to say about this is the long game we're playing here, right? It's not a quick fix. So you would be building up that portfolio over time, and these businesses over time will hopefully mature, right? They'll render a return on that investment. As Talisha responded to you, we were very thoughtful in the minimum being $100 because we felt like that was a reasonable amount that most people could save and come up with. And when I say save, we had a gentleman last week who said he was starting already. He knew we weren't going to be live till spring of 2021, but he was putting aside those dollars now for investment. And so that level of planning may be necessary as well, because it's also important that these are disposable dollars that we are using to invest, right? We don't want mortgage money or rent payments or grocery money or childcare money, because this is not a quick return. So we want people to use the Knowledge Center to learn about how to get disposable income, right? If it's through a side hustle or whatever, saving mechanisms, budgeting, you know, to be able to save those disposable income dollars so that then they can come over and responsibly invest. But it may take, you know, a few different things for people to do to truly build up the portfolio. I can tell you that when Obama changed the law that allowed the average person, you and I, because I'm the average person, right? That allowed the average person to be able to have a seat, an early seat at a fundraising for a startup, that is a big deal. And so we need to do everything we can possibly do to save up to be able to, in my opinion, participate in something like this, because he knew this was the way to close the gap, one of the ways to close the wealth gap for our people, right? This is a wonderful little gift he left us with, and we need to figure out how to responsibly participate in it. So it may take some time, it may take people time to save, but the good news is we're talking about this now, and we won't be opening up because we won't get SEC approval for a few months. Now's the time to tuck away $20, $25, right? And build up a little investment nest egg so that when those pitches start, you'll be able to make a determination and have that money already set aside. And that would be my recommendation for everyone, even people that have a lot of money. You still want to designate some 10K dollars, put it to the side, and do something different with it than you do with your other investment options.
I want to say a couple of things. First of all, Chris said, Tawana, that I will share this for sure. A great way to answer my questions. So Chris really appreciates you. I will say another thing as well. Our competitors out there, because there are other equity crowdfunding platforms, we're special in that we're focusing on Black-owned businesses. However, we will admit we're not the only ones that do it. There are only a couple though. Like, this is not something that's mainstream. But one of the things that they don't focus on is, if you have a limited income, what can you do to increase your income? Which was why within the Knowledge Center, I really fought for, the first line is making more money. How can you make more money? Is there a side hustle? Is there a certification you can get in order to increase your income? Because that's so important to me. One of the primary ways that we can elevate ourselves is by elevating our income. There are some people that do very well because they have, you may have your regular job over here, but then you have a side hustle that's bringing in just as much money as your regular job. And you may keep your regular job for your health benefits or something like that your family really needs. The other thing is that business support before, during, and after funding. If you have a skill that you're able to help people with, your side hustle may be providing that service to businesses that are funded. And that is one of the things that Talisha and Tawana is working on, is a database where you'll be able to put your information in and say, hey, this is what I do. And as other people need you, they'll be able to easily find you. So it was very important to me and all of us, but very important that we really look at investing and actively making more money and tax reduction and all of these things, because that's what our counterparts are doing. That's what they're doing. They're leveraging the tax code. They're leveraging side businesses. They're leveraging owning real estate and homes and things like that. And we aren't in mass. And I want people within the 10K Project ecosystem to be able to do it. So with that, I don't think we have any more questions.
Yeah,
got two more.
There's 3 questions.
Oh, okay. Wow.
How do we track the entrepreneurs after you've made the investment?
So after you have made an investment, the SEC does have guidelines with regards to the entrepreneur giving you updates. So the entrepreneurs will know what those guidelines are, and you'll know as well. We'll make sure that everyone's educated with regards to that.
Yeah, and I'll just say that different entrepreneurs will handle it differently. Some of them may invite you to their private Facebook group. Some of them may just put you on an email list to get all the company updates. Some may invite you to a Telegram group. Some may stay on our platform, and even though the campaign is closed, they'll continue to give you updates for the company, and you can communicate within the 10K portal itself. So that's going to be an entrepreneur choice once their campaign is over, where they continue to engage you as an investor.
Right. So Lawrence is asking a question about me personally, and if—
Sorry, Lawrence, nope, she's not allowed.
I'm not allowed. So I'm going to read his question here because I do get this. I am getting this question. So if a person has an idea, they can come to you, meaning me, Cherie, to move forward and create a business plan. Can you talk more about your services, meaning Cherie's services? And he has to take the dog out. So first of all, I love dogs. Second, okay, the SEC, we're starting to get in a murky area here. I will not be writing anyone's business plans. I will not be writing anyone's business plans who are coming on the platform. In fact, I do get calls from people now because of the 10K project, and that's one of the first questions I ask. If you're raising money on 10K, you're going to have to go to someone else. I am working very closely with the team here to find good resources for you for great business plan writers. We are working on that.
One of the things is, if Lawrence, and I happen to know Lawrence. So Lawrence, if you're needing a business plan writer, go into the Facebook group. If you're in the, and I'm sure you're on the mailing list, you have to be, right? So if you're in the Facebook group, if not, go on the Facebook group and put a call to action out. There may be other business plan writers here in the community that can assist you. If you need one before the Knowledge Center is up and the resource database is up. But, you know, as I said, we are the matchmakers, right? So as the portal, the intermediary, the matchmaker, we have to stay in our lane. And if we wrote your business plan and then allowed you to come into this platform, right, it would appear that you would have an advantage on this platform. And so we don't want to do anything that would be against the law, but also when you think about it morally, you don't want to confuse the investor, right? Because I could definitely think that someone would say, oh, well, you know, your business plan must be awesome. And that means I'll be able to come on her platform and raise more money. So it's a bad idea all the way around. So I'm actually very glad the SEC makes it easy for us to say it's not allowed. And so, you know, we just have to stay in our lane at all times. And that's one of the reasons why this Knowledge Center and the database is so much more beneficial than I think people realize, because other platforms don't go the extra mile. The SEC says we have to do like 5 things from an education standpoint, right? We got to tell you when you can get a refund, right? We have to tell you that there's no guarantee, right? So we got to make sure we always say that to you. And there's like a couple of other things. The guidelines don't mandate that we truly educate you on this whole world of investing and crowdfunding and all the other things that we're doing. We're doing that because we know our people need that, because for so long we've been behind the curve on learning that. You know, we've shared openly here that I know I have personally, that parents didn't talk to me about investing, right? I saw that they were doing it. You know, you pick up on a couple of things when you sneak into the room when they're talking and you're not supposed to be there, right? You pick up on a few things here and there, but they never sat me down and said, this is a stock, this is a bond, and this is an IRA, and this is where we have money. I never got that. And they were amazing parents. They just didn't do that, right? When they sat and did the budget, I knew to go out of the room because that was a stressful time when they did the budget. So you definitely wasn't in there asking no questions. I do remember my mother used to do people's taxes on this. So that was her side hustle. She did people's taxes. And I do remember sitting, watching her do that. So I know how to do taxes, right? But I didn't ask questions. I just watched, and I would, you know, I'd listen when she was talking to them about what she came up with. But you didn't ask questions because you, again, stay in a child's place. Most of the time she didn't even know I was there listening. But to have a knowledge center that now readily gives us this information that many of us probably should have had 20 years ago is something that we know is important for this community. And that's why we do it. And knowing that many of us don't know how to write a business plan, it's a very stressful process. The fact that Cherie has that knowledge is amazing. And finding, what I also know to be true, is finding the right person to do it, right? Someone you connect with, someone who is competent. That's huge, right? So to the fact that we're going to have some of those resources out there for you is great, but also utilize each other, right? Go in that Facebook chat and say, I'm looking for a business plan writer. You know, there was a conversation, maybe it was a month ago, where somebody actually did that, and 3 people said, hey, we can do it together. I'm getting ready to write one too. You want to get together and we can write it together. Like that's the kind of community we're trying to build here. Each one teach one and take somebody under your wing, and let's just get it done for each other. That's what the 10K is. I should have said that earlier. That's what the 10K is, and that's what it means to me.
So we want to thank everyone for being here. You had some really, really great questions. I will again reiterate, number one is if you want to be a member, please consider joining us. You're going to help build a really great community. Dr. Keisha Waddell is looking for your content, your knowledge content. If you're unsure of what you have and if you think it would be acceptable, submit it. Please do submit it. Other than that, if you have questions, info@the10kproject.com. If you have podcasts, if you want us to be guests on your Facebook group or LinkedIn group or whatever, info@the10kproject.com. And thank you so much to everybody for being here this evening with us. God bless you and have a wonderful day. Take care, everybody.